The former company owned the historic Audi brand, which had disappeared after the Second World War. VW ultimately merged Auto Union and NSU to create the modern Audi company and would go on to develop it as its luxury vehicle Marque. The purchase of Auto Union and NSU was a pivotal point in Volkswagen history, as both companies yielded the technological expertise that proved necessary for VW to survive when demand for its air-cooled models went into decline. Volkswagen added a Super Beetle, the Type 131, to its lineup in 1971. The Type 131 differed from the standard Beetle in its use of a MacPherson strut from a front suspension instead of the usual torsion bars. The Super Beetle featured a new hooded padded dash and curved windshield from 1973 model year on up. Rack and pinion steering replaced recirculating ball steering gears in model year 1975 and up. The front of the car was stretched 2 inches, which is 51 millimeters, to allow the spare tire to lie flat, and the combination of these two features increased the usable front luggage space. In 1973, Volkswagen introduced the military-themed Type 181 or Trekker in Europe thing, in America recalling the wartime Type 82. The military version was produced for the NATO-era Germany Army during the Cold War years from 1970 to 1979. The US Thing version was sold for 2 years, 1973 and 1974. By late 1972, Volkswagen had decided to cancel the nearly finished Type 266, a project for mid-engined car to replace the Beetle and to focus on the front-wheel drive, water-cooled cars. Rudolf Leading, recently made head of Volkswagen, cited noise, heat, and servicing problems that mid-engine layout, as well as difficulty of making it a station wagon. Volkswagen was in serious trouble by 1973. The Type 3 and Type 4 models had sold in much smaller numbers than the Beetle, and the NSU-based K70 also failed to sell. Beetle sales had started to decline rapidly in European and North American markets. The company knew that the Beetle production had to end, but faced a conundrum of how to replace it. VW's ownership of Audi Auto Union proved beneficial. Its expertise in front-wheel drive and water-cooled engines would help Volkswagen produce a credible Beetle successor. Audi influences paved the way for this new generation of Volkswagen. The Passat, Scirocco, Golf, and Polo. First in the series was the Volkswagen Passat Dasher in the US, introduced in 1973, a fastback version of the Audi 80 using many identical body and mechanical parts. Estate wagon versions were available in many markets. In Europe, the estate/wagon version dominated in market for many years. In spring 1974, Scirocco followed the coupe, was designed by Giugiaro. Based on the platform of the not yet released Golf, it was built at Karmann due to capacity constraints at Volkswagen. The pivotal model emerged as the Volkswagen Golf in 1974, marketed in the United States and Canada as the Rabbit for the first generation, 1975 to 1985, and the fifth generation, 2006 to 2009. Its angular styling was designed by the Italian Giugiaro. Its design followed trends for small family cars set by the 1959 Mini. The Golf had transversely mounted water-cooled engine in the front driving the front wheels and had a hatchback, a format that it has dominated the market segment ever since. Beetle production at Wolfsburg ended upon the Golf's introduction. It's continued in smaller numbers at other German factories, Hanover and Emuden, until 1978, but mainstream production shifted to Brazil and Mexico. In 1975, the Volkswagen Polo followed. It was a rebadged Audi 50, which was soon discontinued in 1978. The Polo became the base of Volkswagen Derby, which was introduced in 1977. The Derby, for all intents and purposes, a three-box design of the Polo. After a second model generation, the Derby was discontinued in 1985. Although the body style lived on in the form of the Polo Classic/Polo Saloon until 1991. Passat, Sirocco, Golf, and Polo shared many character-defining features, as well as parts and engines. They built the basis for Volkswagen turnaround. Product line expansion, 1974 to 1990. While Volkswagen range of cars soon became similar to that of other large European automakers, the Golf has been the mainstay of Volkswagen lineup since its introduction, and the mechanical basis for several other cars of the company. There have been 7 generations of the Volkswagen Golf, the first of which was produced from the summer of 1974 until the autumn of 1983, sold as the Rabbit in the United States and Canada as the Carbide in Latin America. Its chassis also spawned the Volkswagen Sirocco Sport Coupe, Volkswagen Jetta Salon and Sedan, Volkswagen Golf Cabriolet Convertible, and Volkswagen Caddy Pickup. North American production of the Rabbit commenced at the Volkswagen Westmoreland assembly plant near New Stanton, Pennsylvania in 1978. It would be produced in the United States as the Rabbit until the spring of 1984. The second generation Golf hatchback Jetta sedan ran from October 1983 until the autumn of 1991, and a North American version produced Westmoreland. Assembly went on sale at the start of 1985 model year. The production numbers of the first generation Golf has continued to grow annually in South Africa as the City Golf, with only minor modifications to the interior engine and the chassis, using tooling relocated from the New Stanton, Pennsylvania plant when the site began to build the second generation car. In the 1980s, Volkswagen sales in the United States and Canada fell dramatically, despite the success of the models like the Golf elsewhere. Sales in the United States were 293,595 in 1980, but by 1984 they were down to 177,709. The introduction of the second generation Golf, GTI, and Jetta models helped Volkswagen briefly in North America. Motor Trend named the GTI its car of the year for 1985, and Volkswagen rose